I come back to that same question. What keeps these people going? Last night at dinner, we were talking to Patch, and he was saying again, it's been decades when he started the dream of building the hospital, and he thought he'll get it all ready in 4 years. Well, more than 2 decades later, he's still trying. He's still trying to raise the money. He's still trying to get it going, but he is not giving up. Why don't any of these people give up? What do they have in common? So, without further ado, let me get right into it. What they have, obviously, is this burning desire to create a better future for others. They don't live so much for themselves. They live to create a better future for others. They're willing to take a great personal risk for a cause that is much, much greater than them. That's what leadership is all about. But that leadership requires energy. That leadership requires never-ending energy, and let me tell you that that energy cannot come from however big a bonus your CEO gives you, however big a promotion your organization gives you, and even if you reach the top of the organization, because there are many top bosses in many organizations that are not leaders in this sense of the word. Whereas the people, stories that we shared with you yesterday of ordinary people who are nobodies, but they've left a mark in the short lives that they've lived. That's what we need to be asking ourselves the question, where does such energy come from? So what I'd like to do now is just offer up a quick definition of what leadership energy is, so we're all on the same page. Then I'll get into the research, and then I want to give you information and data which will hopefully change your mind a little bit about where to look for such energy. Yeah? So it is the power that propels leaders to not give up. That's basically what it is. It's the inner fuel that everybody taps into to not give up. Would you agree that all the leaders that you listened to yesterday and all the stories that you listened to yesterday, all of these people had extraordinary energy? Now, if the energy itself is extraordinary, obviously the sources of that energy must also be extraordinary. And therefore, today we're going to take a slightly different journey away from the world of bonuses and promotions and incentives and, team-based compensation versus individual compensation and all the stuff that we talk about in management meetings around the place, and take a little bit of a different journey to get to the bottom of where we are. So let me put this all together first. Where does such energy come from? It comes from 2 primary sources. The first 2 sources, and many of you have heard me speak about this before, this was part of Iclif's early research. We found that such energy comes from clarity of purpose and clarity of values. What you heard from all the speakers yesterday was the moment they became clear about who they were and what they stood for and what they wanted to do in this world, that gave them the energy. Every time one of these leaders felt beaten up by the world, they probably allowed them a little bit of disappointment here and there, but then they closed their eyes and reimagined a better future that they wanted to create for that world, and that reimagination, that revisualization energized them. I talk about Mahatma Gandhi all the time. Every time they beat him up, every time they put him in jail, he reimagined a world in which people would be treated equally and fairly regardless of color of skin, and that thought, that visualization energized him again, and that can only come once you have deep, deep conviction in your purpose. Clarity of purpose is not enough. You also need clarity of values, because by definition, leadership is about creating a better future, meaning nobody has gone there before, meaning it is uncharted territory. In an uncharted territory, there are no textbooks, there are no formulas about what to do when you get into a situation, what to do when you get into trouble, or how do I solve for this one. The only thing that guides you in uncharted territory is, along with your purpose, a sense of deeply held values, which you never, ever compromise, no matter what. Together, clarity of purpose and clarity of values gives us that never-ending energy that people like this, that you heard yesterday, have. Ping Fu, from where she started, from the turbulent early life to what she created and what she's giving to the world. Governor Zeti, I know firsthand how busy she is every day and how hard she works, but does she ever give up? Kiran Bedi, Patch Adams, and so many other great people. We just had limited time yesterday to bring you just 4 such amazing leaders. So that's the basic. I'll get into purpose and values just a little bit more later, but I don't want to spend much time on that because many of you have heard, and you can pick up the research in the books about that. It is the subject of our earlier book, Too Many Bosses, Too Few Leaders. More recent research at Iclif is suggesting, including the one that I'm going to share with you now in a few minutes, we've been studying leadership across 18 countries in Asia, called the Asian Leadership Index. It's a big research project that my colleagues, led by Kate Sweetman, are running. And also we've been collecting leadership energy data from around the world, from 27 countries. And what's emerging is that there is a third source of such extraordinary energy, and that is the ability to use the power of mind. Together, these three things is what keeps these people going, and we're going to be spending most of the day on that third part, using the power of the mind. Is it true? Is it just voodoo? Is there some scientific basis to any of this that people talk about? Or what is it all about? That's what we're going to decode today. So let's put it all together. Leadership is the art of harnessing human energy towards the creation of a better future. It's not a title, it's not a position, it's certainly not a whole lot of things that we think about leadership as. You see, the basic problem with leadership is when somebody is the president or the prime minister, we think that that person is the leader of that country. When somebody is the CEO or president of a company, we think of him or her as a leader of that company. No, that is a position title. What makes them a leader is whether they're creating a better future for others or not. And by the way, it's not even about succeeding. It's about keeping on trying. Think Patch Adams. He's still trying. Summing it all up, better future. The day your leadership begins, the day you close your eyes and imagine a better future for either one person or for 1 million people or somewhere in between, it doesn't matter. Until and unless you get in the habit of closing your eyes and regularly imagining a better future for someone, you're not leading. Not only that, you have to also on that day decide that you want to do something about it. A lot of people dream up of better futures because they feel agitated about something that's going on today that they don't like. But after a few hours of anger and angst, they do whatever they have to do and they forget about it. You know what, I can't do anything about it. It's okay, I got to live with it. So two things need to happen simultaneously. One, I want to create a better future. I feel deeply about the inadequacies of current reality. Something about today bothers me so much that I cannot sleep at night. And two, I decide to dedicate the rest of my life doing something about it. That's the day the leader in you is born. This idea that leaders are born, not made, that it's got to be genetic, and I either have the genes or not from my parents, is an old idea. It's a tired idea. A leader in you is born. Now let me play with words. A leader in you is born, but not at the time of your biological birth. A leader in you is born when those two things happen, and those two things happen much later in life. There is zero connection between the biological phenomena of human birth and great leadership later on. Yeah? Next. Why energy? Well, the moment you say, I want to create, hey, I have an idea, I want to create a better future for other people, what do you get from the people around you? Do people say, oh, jolly good, that's fantastic, when can I sign up? You have my undying support. Or do you get exactly the opposite? The opposite, right? Let's get one thing clear. The moment you start thinking about life and leadership in this way, your constant companion from that point onwards is going to be just one thing. It's going to be resistance, resistance, and resistance. And to fight that resistance, you're going to need huge, huge energy. And point number 3, that energy comes from those 3 sources: clarity of purpose, clarity of values, and clarity and using the power of mind. That, in essence, is what we are finding out about leadership, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to give you as much information and as much data to prove these points a little bit more and to give you some food for thought. And then you make your own conclusions.